Alright, Lucas, back again with a replay from Ghostrider15. One of the top players in the ladder, has played a lot of ladder matches, many more than I have, more than double mine, I believe, and I have played quite a few. So this is going to be fun to see. We're a proponent of the Chaos Turbo deck, running both Upstart and Jar of Greed in this iteration. I agree with this, just simple. We set the decoy tree, set the jar. We don't set the torrential as that would run into breaker. That would put us in an awkward spot. You could still set the torrential, but I think it's unnecessary. So we lead with discarding Thunder Dragon, and then we're going to flip the Dekoichi. So there wasn't any breaker to challenge our set, Jar of Greed, which I think they would have dropped if they had one. So, seeing as we had no other play. So I don't think there's a breaker. I mean, their set is quite likely to be a torrential, but not necessarily. We could summon the breaker and just get rid of the torrential. The alternative would be to set either the Magician of Faith or the Night Assailant, but the Faith isn't very good here, and the Night Assailant might be poor, but I'm not convinced. I think I would summon the breaker. If it's a torrential, that's slightly unfortunate, but it's definitely not a disaster. And if it's not a torrential, it's really good. Yeah, I agree. Alright. So do we flip the jar here? I mean, there aren't very many cards that we would like to play since we've already used a normal summon. We could draw another jar, and I would have the read that there's no breaker here. So I would probably flip it. We could also set Torrential, try to bait a Heavy Storm. I mean, that's fair. I don't know. Okay, that's what we're going for. So there was a breaker, and our opponent didn't shuffle their hand. So kind of weird to me that they didn't summon that last turn. Maybe they simply decided that it's never going to work against the lone set, as it's always going to be playing around breaker. But I mean, it's quite dangerous to just leave our flip monster there, not to challenge it. I guess with torrential set, that makes a bit more sense. So here we are forced to just torrential this. Can't risk the breaker popping the torrential. Alright, I would flip the Jar of Greed now at least. Because now we give them the chance to Heavy Storm. And there's no breaker, so yeah. Didn't shuffle our hand, but that's fine. We set the Faith, which I think is fair. You could also set the Night Assailant, seeing as it's unlikely we have Sangan, as they didn't summon it turn 1, or set it. But it's also unlikely we have a set, and then the Night Assailant doesn't really do anything, so I think this is good. You could claim that the Magician is going to scale in value, but the same goes for Night Assailant. So our opponent discards Air Knight and Thunder Dragon, so we're on some Chaos list running Air Knight. Seems slightly suboptimal. BLS, alright. So we're going to banish our set. They attack. That's very aggressive. Not advisable, but maybe they have a plan. Also, they chose to banish the Air Knight rather than Thunder Dragon. That's quite weird to me. Anyway, we live with the Upstart. And here we have three options. We want to deal with the BLS. So there's Chaos Source, Snatch, still on Mind Control. I think we want to save the Mind Control because that's the only card that can potentially be used against a set monster, whereas Chaos and Snatch Steal are only used against face-up monsters. And I think Chaos is slightly better because it plays better against Book of Moon, as it does leave the body of Chaos Sorcerer behind, whereas Snatch does not. And obviously, if we're met by Book of Moon, we're going to be forced to use the Mind Controller, but that's unavoidable. So yeah, we go for the Chaos Sorcerer. They agree. They ring their own Bilas. This makes little sense. I mean, the only way this makes sense is really if their set card is Call of the Haunted, or if they have a Premature Burial. But at that point, why wouldn't they want their Air Knight in the graveyard if they were running those cards? Why would they banish that rather than the Thunder Dragon? And then you could say that, hey, maybe we're going to summon their banish monsters, but at that point, why would you want your BLS in the graveyard? Yeah, this makes little to no sense to me. I think we set the Duskrit one, and I might be inclined to set the Mind Control as well. We'll definitely set the Night Silent. We're quite scared of dying here. I would probably just fake it with the Mind Control or the Snatch. Um, try to bluff a little, because we are quite close to dying. Okay. Sakuret's Armor, Double Thunder Dragon, Sangan, returns Tribe. Yeah, returning Tribe seems fair. The Sangan is a bit awkward, but yeah, the Tribe is just really good, especially in combination with Call of the Haunted. That would be quite scary. We're never going to summon the Sangan into our Chaos Sorcerer, so we don't have to worry about our Night Assailant getting popped. Alright, so we don't want to pop the Sangan with the Night Assailant. I mean, I guess we could just run it over with the Chaos Sorcerer, but I don't really want to run our Chaos Sorcerer into Sakuret's armor, so maybe we should just leave the Sangan. Could also Mind Control it to use the Chaos Sorcerer on it. That's also fair. Yeah, I think we leave it or Mind Control it, and we set the Spy. Decides to run it over, so this plays into the Sakuret's armor, which is fine, but I mean, I don't see why we need to clear that. And I don't really see why we need to run over the Sangan. I could be missing something. This also does enable Chaos, so there are some top decks like Chaos Sorcerer that would be stronger here than they would have been otherwise, but I mean, we're in such a good position, it's looking good either way. The only thing I'm a bit scared of is like top deck Snatch Steal. But with the Spy and the Knight Assailant, we have such good defense that that's likely not going to be a problem. So we know that's a faith, pretty much, or we have a strong indication it is, as that is what they added with the Sangan. Upstart isn't great, so we could save the Mind Control or we could use it. I would just use the Knight Assailant here. I don't think this Mind Control is all that great. Yeah, flip Knight Assailant, flip Spy, summon another Spy in defense, switch the Chaos Sorcerer to defense, tribute summon Thunder Dragon. There is no Torrential to worry about. And then we attack with a Spy and a Thunder Dragon. That's 2800. I think that's enough pressure. We don't need to risk the Chaos Sorcerer into Mirror Force. And also, the Chaos Sorcerer would likely only trade for a Sakuret's armor, which I don't think is very favorable either. So yeah, I think that's the line. Yeah, I go for the Spy with summon a defense. So here we expect to flip Night Zone to be some Thunder Dragon. Goes for the Mind Control. I don't think I agree with this. Because now we're leaving this body behind, and this Night Zone looks kind of silly. Wouldn't have anything to do with a normal summon this turn. Now we're kind of forced to attack with the Chaos Source into this Grid Armor. Not that that's an issue, but I think it's slightly unnecessary. I like my line of play better. but Ghostrider does have a lot of experience with this kind of deck. I have some. I wouldn't say I'm incapable, but definitely not an expert. So we set the Mirror Force. And yeah, there's no reason to tribute our Thunder Dragon. Setting Night Assailant seems almost unnecessary, as having one in our hand is quite useful if we were to draw anything requiring discard fodder. Also, this Faith can run into our Night Assailant if we do decide to make that read. This Faith can be Tsukio mid. Yeah, I don't like this. So we set the Mirror Force and pass, I believe. And there we go. It got booked. Yeah, don't understand. We get back the Graceful. Get rid of the Thunder Dragons. So now it's a game. We went from completely winning to being slightly favored. If we survive this turn, we could just die. We're going to steal our set, I assume. And there's a Jin, so... Wow. So Snatch steal and we're dead? This is... Yeah, that's great. Okay, so... We're playing Jinso and Air Knight along with Thunder Dragons. I mean, Jinso and Air Knight are usually combined with Revivals, Premature, and Call It Haunted. And Thunder Dragon is usually paired with Chaos Sorcerer. What all of these cards, Jinso, Air Knight, Thunder Dragon, Chaos Sorcerer, Call of the Haunted, and Premature have in common is that we're bricks. So I don't necessarily understand this deck building, but okay. So how do we deal with this? I guess we snatch, attack. Drawing the spy is unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world. The body is still quite strong. Yeah, snatch and attack. And then we Chibi summon Thunder Dragon. Because we want our Mirror Force to be live, and we don't want them to gain the life points. Especially not now with the Scapegoat in play. I think we could Tribute set the Thunder Dragon, because I don't really see a use for having the 1600 attack points rather than the 1500 defense. We're obviously not scared of it being hit with a Nobleman across out. And it is slightly better against a Metamorphosis. Not that that really matters either, to be honest though, seeing as we're the Spy. But yeah, seeing as Breaker and Tribe are probably not there. Oh, we go for the Night Assailant. Hmm, okay. So if we get the choice here, okay, so do we discard Spy or Thunder Dragon? I don't think it's obvious. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I guess Thunder Dragon, but I think it's kind of close. So we draw the duo, which looks poor, but hey, maybe the set monster is going to give us a use for our duo, so that's a great top deck. We could also flip the Night Assailant, but what are we really trying to hit? This duo just looks so good there. So yeah, I think we summon Spy, switch the Spy, attack with 3. But man, switch Spy to attack is so awkward because we're just dead to a Chaos Sorcerer. Yeah, I think not tributing the Jinso was just a mistake. I don't really understand that. No, our Meter Force isn't live. Feels bad. But we can't really just wait it out against Viscoats. That's also one reason why Thunder Dragon was good, because it could get rid of our Night Assailant, which is a liability. Thunder Dragon having 1600 attack points is also quite good, as we are not dead to just a Chaos Sorcerer at that point. Also, another disadvantage to the Jinso is that Sledge Steel is going to be lethal against anything if we switch it into attack. So we're in a rough spot. We could also use Mind Control on the set. seeing as the set is unlikely to be anything bad for us. Or the Sangan in the grave. I mean, our worst hits are what? Sinister Serpent, maybe the Warrior Lady. But the duo is quite. Oh wait, we can't even play the duo. Silly me. Okay, at that point I guess we mind control because we don't want to flip this up, as that would leave us dead to anything really. So yeah, we'll leave with the mind control. Whoa, I don't understand this. Yeah, this I definitely don't understand. So at that point I guess we summon the spy, or just go all out for the attack. Yeah, this looks poor to me. So sets the bluff. This is so bad. Yeah, I think we played that awfully in the end. Alright, so set jar, set does shoot. And we could set break and faith as well. Or we could wait. I think I would wait. Yeah, I agree. Flip the does shoot immediately. We snipe the Thunder Dragon, that's nice. Book of Moon, Mirror Force, Metamorphosis, Tsukuyomi, and what I will assume is a DD War Lady. Let's take a peek. Yeah. So, Book Mirror. So that's likely to be a Book of Moon, because Mirror Force is so awful to set here if the opponent has the breaker, which we do. Yeah, we flipped the jar because there's really no reason to hold it, as there's no heavy storm or breaker in the opposing hand. That's pretty good. So do we go for the breaker and just trade it for the book? We could. I think we set the Dekoichi and try to go for a pro heavy storm. Yeah, I really like that. Whoa, I don't understand this at all. This is quite aggressive from them, but it does make sense. We just let this go. I mean, if we set the heavy storm there, we're very likely to set the mirror force. And even if we don't, that's just fine. Like, there's no reason to go for the heavy storm there. We're just going to set the Koichi. We don't need to clear the book. That's just, yeah, I don't understand that. So here, I guess I would, we kind of want to use Regeki break. I mean, the one plus is that now there's a spell in our graveyard for our faiths, but we could still just flip it this turn. I don't see why we did that last turn. So I guess we just set the faith and eat the damage. Doesn't sound very fun. On the plus side, this breaker is looking fantastic. So yeah, now we go for the breaker. I guess that's the upside to this play. Still don't agree with it, but it does look quite nice. And there's the top deck book. Yeah, unfortunate. So we could use Regeki break. Because then perhaps the breaker is going to live, since the Tsukiyomi can't clear it without the Deer Warrior on the field. But I think we just let it go and play this very slow. Maybe that's a bit too slow though. Yeah, decides we don't want to take 3,000 points of damage. Because if we don't Regeki Break now, we're likely going to have to do that. We're kind of committed to not doing that next turn either, which will result in us taking a lot of damage. So I think this makes sense. Targets Tsukuyomi, which is definitely correct, seeing as now the Chaos Sorcerer has a clean target. We still don't set the Mirror Force, which is kind of cool. So my Chaos Sorcerer set the Faith. I would not set the Torrential. We still didn't shuffle our hand. Yeah, there's the Thunder Dragon. So their hand now is Mirror Force, Metamorphosis, Thunder Dragon, Thunder Dragon. That's an awful hand. But they have drawn the Metamorphosis, which makes it a lot better. So Thunder, Thunder, Mirror Force. Yeah, we have to pick the Chaos Sorcerer here. And I think they should attempt to run over the set. And we're going to add back the Heavy Storm. But yeah, we do have pressure here. We still don't set the Mirror Force. We're not scared of it, Tsukiyomi. Okay. Set Serpent, set Torrential. Yeah, fine. They didn't return their Serpent, playing around Dust Shoot, I guess. Sure. We return our Serpent, though. Now we set the Night Assailant, I believe. We could also set the Serpent, but that's just... Eventually we're going to top deck a Nobleman and we're going to be sad. Okay. Yeah, we return the Serpent, definitely. So, use the Thunder Dragon. I still want to set the Assailant, though. Don't quite understand this. Like, we're lucky we're not drawing the Nobleman. But we're not really progressing. I guess we are slowing down the game, but I'm not sure we were in that bad shape that we should strive towards taking risks in order to achieve that. But then again, if we were to draw a Graceful or a card destruction with this hand, we probably would just win the game outright. Yeah, we still would do that, even without a Night Assailant. So we use the Mystical Space Typhoon there, just to empty their hand. So, and they didn't want to set something into the Heavy Storm, because it could have been a Pro Storm. So that's fair. No, I think we set the Heavy Storm. Could also set the Typhoon, of course. Could also even use the Typhoon. Yeah, we discard double Night Assailant. Or, well, one Night Assailant. We don't get to choose both. I think we bring back the Faith here. Faith has a lot of potential. We just can't seem to draw a Nobleman. Yeah, we're really unfortunate. You could claim that this is working out, but I don't really see how this is actually favorable for us rather than them. I mean, I guess it's slightly favorable for us, but that's not by much. So this time we set the Faith. And our opponent feels forced to sound the Sangan to avoid going to discard. So hey. I would set the Night Assailant after adding back the Serpent. Why didn't we add the Serpent? That's just bad. That's just bad. There's no dust shoot. Wait, where's the serpent? What? Wait, am I blind? What happened? Oh, we added it without me noticing. Wow, I'm so tired. Oops, okay. We set the force. Sets the MST. I don't really understand why we set the MST next to our heavy storm. Wow, we're going for a Thunder Dragon here? Yeah. Oh, Air Knight. Mm, I mean, sure. The Air Knight is kind of like valuable as it's a real card. So, you know, I mean, my Mirror Force would have been looking good here. Wait, MST, I guess. So now we snatch the Air Knight. I guess we flipped the Storm before then. I'm not sure about that. Yeah, maybe not. But if we snatch the Air Knight and set our Mirror Force, and we run into an opposing Heavy Storm, we're probably just dead, right? So maybe just set the Mirror Force and pray we don't you go for the Storm. But if they have Storm here, we're so screwed. Yeah, I'm not too fond of how we played this. I guess we snatch and if they book with Nobleman. Yeah, that's probably the line. So at this point we snatch, run over the Sang, and tribute summon for the Thunder Dragon and set the Mirror Force. Sure. We could set Mirror Force, but then we're completely dead to Heavy Storm, so I think we tribute summon the Thunder Dragon and set it. Okay, but we're just dead to Heavy Storm here. I don't really understand this. I mean, it did work out, so nice. Flip the Faith. This game is so long. Um, I kind of into tribute summoning Thunder Dragon, just to apply pressure. So in that case, I guess we set the Night Assailant. Set the MST. Also, we added MST. I think I would have gone for a Heavy Storm or Snatch still. Or did. Yeah, we must have added MST, right? One second. I don't see why that's any better. I mean, I guess it's good to have in case of an opposing Snatch steal or premature call. Okay, that's fair. Whoa, what's going on? So we flip the Night Assailant to clear the set. We could also do that using a Nobleman and keep this Night Assailant for defensive purposes. A set Night Assailant is quite good at keeping us alive. So yeah, maybe I prefer that. Just once again, I want to tribute off his faith for a Thunder Dragon. You could argue that the body of the faith is valuable. Maybe we should even switch it and set the Serpent. Try to play for a long game. It's also fine. Yeah. Okay, I go for this line. But in that case, I would be tempted to just switch the faith. I mean, clearing goat is nice and all, but I think it's unlikely that's going to be deciding the game. However, taking a bunch of damage off of his faith, that could definitely decide the game. Like once again, we're just dead to have a Storm BLS, but I mean, okay. Guess we set the dust shoot, so it's going to be really fun to see here. Double Thunder Dragon, Mirror Force, Sin. What is Sin? Let's see. Sin is the Serpent, okay. And a Magician. So their hand is just awful. I guess we could crash the Serpent into our faith, but if that fails, if this is a book, that's so bad for. Yeah, I mean, we're just completely dominating. We can't lose at this point, I guess. Yeah, we go for it. We're forced to do something. We could set the heavy there, but I mean, that's probably Mirror Force. Yeah, we use the Graceful. Yeah, we discard double Thunder Dragon, I guess. You could even discard something else. This is why I don't really like playing with card destruction and such, and discard traps, because I really like my Thunder Dragons. I just think the bodies are nice. But I'm definitely in a minority. Maybe I'm the most extreme lover of the Thunder Dragons. I like them so much that I don't even want to use them for discard fodder. So I guess we just set the spy and pass. I mean, we set the dust shoot and flip it, I guess, as well. We could roll onto it, but I think just picking off the serpent seems sufficient. I think setting the ring seems somewhat unnecessary. Goes for this. So we're playing this aggressive, but I don't really see why. Because we're not pushing any damage this turn. And these two bodies are not going to push any significant damage on a later turn either. So we're just exposing ourselves for very little gain. Now we're just, once again, dead to top deck BLIs. We use the Mirror Force, that's extremely weird to me. I mean, we could top deck a meta and then they go to, I mean, I don't understand anything in this game. Okay, but now when they add the Serpent, we flip the Dust Shoot, right? Because otherwise we would be... Right, so what happened here? We drew the meta. Nice. Okay, so I mean our opponent does get paid off on their Mirror Force. I mean it's so weird to Mirror Force because the goats have so little value, seeing as we had the serpent. But then we get hit with the dust shoot and we draw the meta, and then the goats look good. So I mean, sure. We could tribute summon for a Thunder Dragon here, but I think they want to keep a standstill. They don't want to trade off resources. That said, we could go for like Heavy Storm Tribute Summon. I mean, we have the Heavy Storm, so maybe. But yeah, we want to push damage, but we don't really want to trade for back row, do we? Yeah, there's no game shot, so I think we just set the Koichi set the ring. So finally, Ghostriders decided to apply some pressure, but I actually think it's a bit premature. I mean, I guess it's fine. Maybe this is better. Maybe this was the turn to do this. Set the ring. Yeah, I don't mind this one. Oh, the premature. Does that get one? I would assume the Air Knight. I think getting the XL4 here is just playing to lose. Yeah, we don't know the tribe. So, what's their best draw here? I mean, ring would... Okay, so there's no ring. There's that at least. We don't even have lethal here. Yeah. So we tribute summon the Thunder Dragon in order not to be completely blown out by MST or Breaker or Storm. But we have already used MST and Storm, and they would have seen a Breaker. So this really only plays around Breaker. I mean, this way we're forcing the Chaos Sorcerer to attack, but there's no Mirror Force. We could have a second Sacred Summoner, but having that after side against Turbo. Don't know that I understand this. So we go for the Nobleman. Call onto the Sangan, and we have declared an attack, so we can't banish that with the Chaos Sorcerer. So if we run over the Sangan, what's that bad against? Actually, then we get a Magician perhaps, or the War Lady. We set that. We don't have a clean answer to the set. Maybe we don't run it over, we just set the coach, set the jar, and then next turn we banish it with the Chaos Sorcerer and play it slow. I think both options are viable, but I think we should continue the attack, as that puts them pretty much dead. No, we can't do that. I don't think that's a legal play, because we've declared an attack. I could be wrong, but I think that's illegal. Alright, we won that one. So I think we messed up game one. I think we definitely should have won that. Game two, I don't think we played perfectly either, to be honest. This is great for us though. Wow, but their hand was quite absurd here. No discard for off at graceful though. So we live with the thunder. Oh wow. Okay. So our hand got massacred here. We decided to use the Dust Ship before we added the Serpent. That's also just awful. Um, set Spy, set Shoot, set Jar. Um, do we flip the Dust Shoot immediately? I don't know that there's a lot of reason to do so, but I don't know that there's a lot of reason to wait. You could argue that it's somewhat likely to be a faith set. I mean, it's very unlikely that we get punished for not flipping it immediately, so maybe we should wait actually. We flip it immediately, okay. So we hit what? Oh, sorry, I didn't catch what we hit. That's my bad. Yep. Anyway, we left Breaker, did a Let It Call, and Mirror Force. I mean, this is so bad. We go for the Greed, which makes sense, seeing as there's no discard fodder. So wait, what's going on here? We have Breaker and did a War Lady, and we didn't summon anything? Why would you not go for the Breaker there? I mean, it wouldn't have worked out, but it's so clean. I guess when yeah, we know it's a spy, so we didn't want to go for the Breaker because we know it's Spy Jar of Greed. That actually makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we draw that, which is nice. We use that. Whoa, why are we using our Spy here? I mean, eventually the Spy would get hit by a Nobleman, you could argue. But there's no Nobleman right now. And there was no Tsukiyomi right now. And it's still going to get booked if it's a book. I don't think clearing the faith is that important. And if we do feel it's that important, we could always do it with the serpent. I mean, at that point we do get blown up by book though. I don't quite understand this though. Feels like we're just sacrificing one of our bodies. But I don't hate this. But I don't think I necessarily agree with it. So here's the Thunder Dragon with 4 flip in this jar. We have Torrential. I mean, that does make sense, seeing as we didn't summon anything. Or even set the War Lady. Hmm. Okay, we use the Thunder Dragon. We flip the jar. We're not going to bait the breaker. We shuffle our hand. And I think we set the serpent, as it's quite unlikely there's a nobleman in the opposing side. This does, however, play into the war lady. Yeah, maybe this is bad, but I think that's just a trade we have to make at this point. Alright, so we get to take our turn. So tribute on Thunder Dragon and attack. That's another fifth. Yeah, this is so bad for us. We're still kind of in the game. I guess we set the mirror first. Then we get the Server Breaker, so maybe we don't actually. Yeah. Okay. This is still somewhat playable, so we use the upstart. Okay, set Mirror Force, set Jar of Greed, set Serpent, and we pretend that we're holding on to a Torrential. You could even try to signal the Torrential by summoning Tsukiyomi, setting the Dear War Lady, setting Mirror Force, setting Jar of Greed. And summoning the Tsukiyomi looks pointless unless we have Torrential. Maybe that could be a line. This has to set the Serpent, which is also fair. So I'd imagine we're just going to attack with the Dear War Lady. Yeah, and we're gonna flip with Mirror Force. Oh, Judgment, that's so bad for us. We use the Dear War Lady, makes sense. Take 16. So here, are we going to tribute some of this Thunder Dragon? I think we're just going to leave it. It's interesting that we haven't played a book yet. Maybe we don't run too many books post side. Seeing as we're playing Chaos Turbo, a deck without Thousand Eyes Restrict. Book is not as great as it is against Chaos Control. Still fine though. Um, so yeah, just going to set a bunch. We didn't make use of their normal summon there. I don't really understand, because if you don't make use of your normal summon, why not just tribute summon Thunder Dragon? I think that's worth getting rid of a Snatch Steal. Uh, yeah, Spy is awful here. Our draws have not been good. I would have just flipped the jar. What are we waiting for? Like, are you really going to try and bait the breaker? The breaker wasn't even summoned last turn. Why wasn't the breaker summoned last turn? They didn't know it was a jar, right? I don't get this. Now it's summoned. Okay. Go for a Metamorphosis play. Alright, we're going to go for Bolter. Yeah, our Pottergrid is looking quite silly. The Spy is going to protect us for now, though. Okay, so we played at Tsukiyomi, and I guess we just have to use the effect on the Bolter, unfortunately. But man, it's so tempting to run over the breaker and just take a turn off, but I don't think we can afford that. So leads with the duo. You could even argue that this duo is doing more harm than good. No, I mean, we have to go for it, I guess. But maybe we should play the Pot of Greed first to see if there's like a graceful. Maybe we can discard the duo. So Snatch is good. So seeing as we drew the Snatch, because now we can run over the Bolter. So now I guess we use the Heavy Stormman to make sure. So Ghostrider here decides that we're not going to extend onto the field when we don't have to, which makes sense. There's also no Chaos Monster to worry about right now, and maybe our opponent won't be willing to go for a game shot with like tribute summon Thunder Dragon, summon a Chaos Monster, attack. But yeah, I would have gone for the Snatch. Alright, so we have managed to achieve a standstill. Very nice. And now we can switch the bolter, flip-flop it with Tsukiyomi, run over the breaker. I guess there's a mirror force though, so maybe we don't run over the breaker. But I definitely think we can go for the snatch here. Oh, also I did pro storm him. So maybe Ghostrider is just a god. Maybe we saw this coming. That's pretty cool. This is going to work out really well. Wait, why didn't we flip the storm? And why did we do this? Why did we set the bolter? That makes... So why are we going for the snatch play now? Because I mean, I assume that's where this is going. Why did we summon the Tsukiyomi before doing this? Alright, because the heavy storm will be negated by bolter. Alright, so I'm being silly. Okay, so this does make sense. Yeah, cool. Okay, so snatch the breaker. I s so I don't... This is so patient. I mean, I guess... But man, it's... We could definitely get punished by this. I mean, this is a bit greedy to me. Maybe I'm just too hasty. So easy for us to die from here. Alright, so... Shuffle our hand. Well, this is lethal. Okay, I did not see that coming. So maybe I was in too defensive of mindset while Ghostrider was playing to win. I think that's one of my weaknesses as a player, that I'm a bit too defensive, too reactive. I don't want to get blown out. I tend not to take risks when I perhaps should, both defensively and aggressively. I want to react to the field. I don't want to leave things there. I don't want to leave the tension, so I could get punished by certain top decks most of the time. But here, Ghost Rider definitely played well and not only kept an eye on their own life total, but also their opponents, which you also shouldn't lose track of, not get into too defensive of a mindset. Alright, so this was a fun replay. I didn't agree with anything Ghost Rider did, but here and there, I admit, they proved me wrong. I was wrong. And here and there, I think my place would have been better. Please share your thoughts on the game, and please send me your replays. Thank you for this one, Ghost Rider. Um, and thanks to you for watching.